Midweek Analysis.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for April 7th of 2021. Okay, we'll start off with the Euro-Yen pair. This is a weekly chart. We'll start off with an overview. Okay, so the last long trade that formed was right here, and the last short trade that formed was right here. Now this short trade was stronger than this long trade, thus typically we would be short biased right back down to this pivot low as a target. However, in this case, this short trade already hit its monthly gap level targets. Thus in the medium term, we are long biased right up to this pivot high as a target. Okay, so let's talk midweek price. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart. Now that weekly target we were talking about is right here at this pivot high. Now at this point, there's not enough distance between our entry point and our target to make this trade worthwhile in terms of profits. So what we're looking for is for price not to reach its target and pull back as far as possible, creating distance between our target and our entry point, and then having a long trade form so we could take a long right back up to this pivot high target. Okay, now at this point, price still hasn't reached its pivot high target, but is gradually going in that direction. So what we want is for price to respect this trend line from this pivot to this pivot and have price not get past this trend line. And moreover, the first thing we want to see on the other end is this trend line to get broken out. So it's this pivot to this pivot. So the first thing we want to see in order to get that pullback is a breakout of this trend line. Okay, now just remember, if price does reach this pivot high target, then this pullback entry long setup is irrelevant. Okay, so let's just see how this plays out. Alright, we'll go on to the Audnzd pair. Oh, and please subscribe if you like these videos, and please push the like button. It really helped me out, guys. Thank you. Alright, this is the monthly chart. We'll start off with an overview. Okay, so we had this normal double bottom against a weak downward trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. So in the long term, we are long biased right up to this trend line level right here, or perhaps the second target of this pivot high. Now that first target was hit already 2 weeks ago. Now at this point, we're seeing if price could get through this trend line level right up to that second target. So in the short term, we are neutral biased. Okay, so let's talk midweek price. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart. If you recall, price was trying to get through that monthly trend line level with this grunging price action roughly 2 weeks ago. However, that first attempt on this 4-hour chart failed and price came back down. And now price is trying to make a second attempt at that monthly trend line breakout. So let's go over to the daily chart. Okay, so some levels to be watching for on the daily chart are trend lines from this pivot to this pivot right here. Another one from this pivot to this pivot. And finally, this one from this pivot to this pivot. Now, if you don't know how to draw trend lines, please watch lesson 5 of my price action trading course, and that should teach you the basics of how to draw a trend line. Okay, so these are some of the levels that we want to be watching for and for price to start respecting with compact price action. Again, this compact price action could be on the daily 4-hour or 1-hour chart. However, it must be on these trend line levels. Now, if price could restart respecting these trend line levels, then perhaps there'll be another attempt to get through that monthly trend line level right up to our second target. Moreover, one more thing that we want to be looking at is that there was a long trade that formed yesterday on this daily chart. Now, what this daily chart shows us through its stop loss level, which is right here at this pivot low, is the last line of defense for the second attempt long through that monthly trend line level. So what I mean is if price even touches this pivot low level right here, there'll be a high possibility that price could first reach this level right here. Then after that, the second level right here. Okay, so again, price does not have to close under this level to reach these bottom levels. A simple wick touch of this price level can cause a breakdown of price right back down to this pivot low right here. Okay, so what this means is if you already have long positions, one strategy you could take to take out some profits is if price reaches this pivot low, for it is possible that if price reaches that pivot low, price will reach this second pivot low down here. Okay, so let's go on to the NZD USD pair. Okay, this is the weekly chart. We'll start off with an overview. Now, since this move up started from this range right here, was solely based on momentum, in the long term, we are short biased, right back down to this pivot low right here. However, due to price still having a little bit of momentum long in this move, in the short term, we are long biased, right back up to this pivot high right here. Alright, let's talk midweek price. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart. If you recall last week, we were talking about there was a long trade that formed right here that was slightly stronger than these short trades, so we were expecting a little bit more move up. Now this week, another weak short trade formed right here, so again, price went up again to stop out that pivot high target. Now although this long trade was stronger than these short trades, because the target I'm looking for is that short-term target right up here at this pivot high, I'm much more comfortable with taking a long trade right up to that pivot high if one of these two things happen. Now one would be if price pulls back right back down here and forms an even stronger long trade right here. Now a strong trade means it has very strong price characteristics supporting its move. And if you don't understand what I mean by price characteristics, please watch lessons 1 through 4 of my price action trading course, and that should teach you what I'm talking about. Okay, so if a strong long trade forms here, then possibly I could take that right up to this pivot high target. Now the other option could be on the weekly chart, so let me take you over there. Okay, so these trend lines from this pivot right here to this pivot, and another one from this pivot to this pivot. Now if price could start making compact price action on these weekly price levels on the daily or 4-hour chart, then that is another possibility in which we could take a long trade right up to this pivot high short-term target. Okay, so if you're already long this trade, I will be wary of another pullback down to these pivot low levels, because although there is stronger price long for the moment, it is slightly not as strong as I would like it to be to target this pivot high right here. Okay, so that's it for the midweek analysis. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, guys. And thanks for watching. Bye.